Hi, excuse me, hi. This is Trey Pastor. I want to talk about a show that I really enjoyed as a kid growing up. This again, TV shows usually, they have a premise, a hero, or a hero and a heroine, and it has a basic premise and it goes from there. But this show, and usually the more memorable shows, sometimes they have a great theme song, and this TV show had one of the best theme songs ever. That I mean, this show was there's TV shows that are very, especially openings that are very memorable, like Mission Impossible, like probably one of the greatest themes ever. Mission Impossible. Uh, I'm trying to think what else. Now I can't think of anything else. Of course, Friends, which I didn't watch, but it has a memorable opening for that, and Family, also, you know, All in the Family, all that stuff. But one show that came out in the '70s, which I absolutely loved, was of course the $6 Million Man, starring Lee Majors. Okay, I have all 5 seasons here. With the pilot movie, TV movies in season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 5. Now I started, like I said, surfing around watching for thing with this pandemic going on. You got to try to find things to watch to amuse yourself. And I started yesterday. I started watching, uh, flipping through the TV, TV show, old TV shows to see which streaming thing to see which old TV show they had. I came upon the $6 Million Man, and again, that was one of my favorite shows growing up. I loved it so much. I used to collect there used to be cards for those. I remember that. I don't know what happened to those cards, but because you're a kid. I don't know what I ever did with them, but I used to collect them because they used to get all these trading cards with the bubble gum and stuff. So I used to, whenever I got a chance when the show was on, I used to collect them. They had cards, they had action figures and everything for that $6 Million Man, and I absolutely loved this show. It was this great, Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. It's just the theme song is so great. It's one of the great theme songs ever. I just absolutely love the theme song for $6 Million Man. Just absolutely great. And the thing I loved about it, because I remember specifically when I went to one of these comic conventions, and I got the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. Well, Lizzie Wagner was, that was when she came. I think it was season 3 when she came on, and she was like an old love of Steve, a high school. Well, no, they grew up together in Ohio. That's that was where Steve Austin, home of astronaut Steve Austin. So she was, by that time she was like a tennis pro, and they reconnected. Of course he fell in love with her, and then I think they started spending time together, and then they went Paris, jumping out of a plane, I forget what you call it, parachuting, and she of course had an accident, and of course he begged Oscar them to save her, and they gave her some bionic parts, but then her body started rejecting the bionic parts. She started having headaches and stuff, and it was like a 2-part episode, and then she started freaking out, and then she ultimately, or so we thought, that she died. I think so. No, it was season 2, right? Excuse me. I think it was season 2. I think if I'm right about that, right? Season 2, right? Jaime Sommers, and then it was season 3 that she came back. I think that's the way it was. Yeah. Then it was, I think. Yeah. Right. I think. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's so season. Excuse me. Season 2. She was in season 2, and then supposedly she died in season 2. But then in the beginning of season 3, she came back. Steve was on a mission, and he hurt his legs, so he had to go back to a hospital, kind of rehab his bionic legs, and get him fixed and do rehab. But then he kind of he has a bionic eye. He spotted her in the hospital, and then first Oscar Goldman and Rudy were lying to him, saying that that he was seeing things. He's been overworked, and then he actually saw her as well, and he told them stop lying. They finally admitted that she was alive. That according to all things she was dead. But then this scientist, fellow scientist for Rudy, came along and said he had this theory that could, this procedure that could help her, and it did, and it saved her life ultimately. But it wiped her memory out, so she couldn't remember Steve, and she was getting close to this guy named Michael. I think that was his name, Michael. I forget the doctor's last name, but it was Michael, and he started getting closer. And of course, Steve had to kind of take that, and then he kind of introduced himself to her, and and was just trying to teach her, while he was getting better and teaching her how to deal with bionics, since they were the only two bionic people uh, at that moment that they knew of. So they got to know each other, and then of course she started having flashbacks of Steve and stuff, but not, but with the pain and stuff. They even went on a little, decided to take her home back to their hometown and stuff, and people started recognizing them, and then eventually, he put her on a mission, and but of course she still started freaking out, and then it kind of ended it where he knew he had to say goodbye to her because her being around him was just too painful for her, and so Steve basically had to say goodbye to her, and it was some of the best, the best acting on that show ever. Just Lizzie Wagner was just fantastic. Her and Lee Majors had great chemistry, and it was just one of the best episodes ever. And 2 parts. I guess it was 4 parts. I guess you think about it. From the season 2, 2 parts, and then 2 parts from season. And then eventually she got her own. She left, and then eventually she got her own show. And I think Steve. Sometimes he was on her show. I think he was on the show a couple of times, and then they kind of teamed up when they brought back Bigfoot on the show, which is another great episode when Steve had to fight Bigfoot. Of course, the first Bigfoot was actually the wrestler Andre the Giant. And then the second Bigfoot was Ted Cassidy, the actor who played Lurch. He played Bigfoot the second time when Steve and Jamie had to team up to fight the evil aliens this time, and it was just great. But this show I just loved it because again, what I loved about this was the special effects when he was running, and then when he jumped, and when he threw stuff, and just great. Lee Majors was cool. Everybody wanted to be $6 Million Man. And I know they were talking a long time ago about making a movie, but they were saying it was going to be more comedic with Jim Carrey. I think there was thinking. I think there was even a thing about maybe Mark Wahlberg doing it. But no, I think if you ever remake this, which probably eventually will get done, but these I'm going to hold in great regard because I just absolutely love these the show. Let's see, that's season 5 there. Lee Majors there. Now you can see that, right? There you go. Sorry for the glare. And then there's Steve in season 4. Lee Majors with his porn star mustache there. There, season 4. And then season 3. There it is. Then, of course, season 2. And then, of course, the first season and the TV movies. Okay. And I love the show. Him, Lee Majors, Richard Dean Anderson played Oscar. And I think there were 2 actors that played Rudy. There was 2 actors that played Rudy. I forgot but I know not Martin Bolson, but I forgot the actor's name. But there were 2 actors that played Rudy. I think it was the first actor, and then they switched off and got another actor to play Rudy. But I absolutely love the show because again, the spy part of it and the slow motion running and the special effects was just so cool. And when he threw stuff, and when he used the bionic eye and just the leaping and all, as a kid, that was just so cool to watch. It just made you just wanted to be a $6 Million Man. And I remember, and I swear to God, if I ever find these cards, I'm gonna probably Google it and see if I can find those cards. Those cards are probably worth a lot of money somewhere. But if I could buy a collection of those cards, because I remember there was like a puzzle, I think, that you could work like on the back. Some of the cards were like regular cards, but then some on the back of them were like a puzzle. And I think they were like his bionic eye, his bionic arm, just certain parts and stuff. And I wanted to, but I could never get all of the cards. But I'm gonna Google it and see if I'm sure there's some collector somewhere that has these cards, the $6 Million Man cards when they came out. And of course, years later they did the Return of the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman, and then they did Bionic Forever. They finally got married and stuff, which is we're all waiting for because their love story. That's what made it great. Their love story, Jamie and Steve, because like I said, they were childhood sweethearts. They drifted apart and then came back together. Then she, had the accident and had the bionic parts, and then she was like freaking out, and then she went nuts and supposedly died. Then she came back, but she couldn't remember Steve. But they became friends again, even though you could tell there was something there, even though Jamie couldn't remember quite everything. But her and Steve still became close friends, and of course, we had to kill Steve inside because this is the woman that you love, but you can't really tell her that we were in love because it brought back those painful memories and stuff. So and then so that's why I was finally glad they did years later they did the Return of the Bionic Woman, $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman, and she finally remembered him. And then of course they got married in Bionic Forever, which so I think they did about three. I think it was like three or four TV movies with them like years later, which is always so cool. Again, Lee Majors will always be my cool guy from the '70s. He was just a cool guy, and everybody wanted to be the $6 Million Man. Okay, just so. Anyway, let me know what you think of the $6 Million Man. If you watch the show, what do you think of it? I absolutely, like I said, I love the show. The show was it's just one of those things that just made me just brought a smile to my face, and just again, and I love the love story of Steve and Jaime Sommers. Again, just absolutely loved it, and again, it made me nostalgic watching it yesterday, watching those episodes with them when they with them falling in love and stuff, and how painful it is when Steve had to walk, basically let her go and stuff. So and then of course I watched those, but those clips on YouTube with them when they got married and stuff years later and stuff. So just brought a smile to my face. So anyway, let me know what you think of the $6 Million Man. Do you love the show? I used to watch Bionic Woman too, but the $6 Million Man, again, just that opening, that theme song, this absolutely one of the best theme songs ever. This classic, okay? And the show was just so cool, okay? This '70s cool, okay? And Lee Majors will always be I watched this show with him, and Fall Guy was great. And of course, then it made me watch The Big Valley, which he was in. I think that's what his like first big break in Hollywood was The Big Valley. That was a Western that he did. But $6 Million Man, that's my show. Anyway, let me know what you think about $6 Million Man. What do you feel about it? Did you love it? Did you watch it? Anyway, like I said, some people may be too young, obviously because it came out in the '70s. So some people may have not seen it, but I'm telling you, you get a chance to watch it, okay? I watched, I was watching it on the streaming service and stuff, and it's just bringing a smile to my face. But I got these at I was gonna say Best Buy, not Best Buy. I got these at Barnes and Noble when they had this 40% off sale and stuff, and 40% off, so which was great, 30% off, because they had those sales. So that's why I was able to get these, with the extra, because they have great selection at Barnes and Noble, but they're high, so you have to catch them on the sale. So that's why I was able to get these. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.